Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a motion and a second to reconvene the public meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our servicemen and women? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the District Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Melissa Torregrossa, trustee. Present. Jacqueline DiLorenzo, trustee. Present. Jacqueline Napolitano-Ferno, trustee. Present. Marisol Mallon, president.
Present.
April Iannatelli, vice president. Present. Oh, sorry. I forgot you. I'm sorry. No, that he goes last. Sorry, Anthony. Dr. Centimore, superintendent.
Present, I think.
Maybe I'm not. April Iannatelli, vice president.
Present.
Reza Kolahipar, assistant superintendent for administration and personnel.
Greetings and salutations.
Christina Poppy, assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction.
Present.
Robert Hauser, assistant superintendent for business and operations.
Present.
Anthony Fasano, attorney.
Last but present.
Thank you. So tonight we have a lot of special guests in our audience. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the floor to Ms. Christina Poppy, who will present some of the awards tonight.
Good evening, everyone. We have a celebratory evening on tap, and I'd like to begin this portion of the meeting by recognizing Miss Diane Rambold, who is a lunch aide at Duffield Elementary. Miss Rambold, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Mrs. Lonergan is here as well. And Ms. Rambold performed abdominal thrusts and dislodged a piece of bagel from a second grader's mouth and saved their life. So we are very honored and pleased to recognize her efforts here today, her quick thinking and her intuitiveness in terms of being helpful in our cafeteria. Thank you very much. Next, we have some recognitions for 3 middle school students from both Oakdale Bohemia Middle School and Ronkonkoma Middle School. Congratulations to CJ Connolly and Adriana Clarelli from RMS and Maeve Boland from OBMS, who were honored with the National Junior Honor Society's Outstanding Achievement Award. This prestigious recognition celebrates their exceptional dedication to scholarship, service, leadership, character, and citizenship. CJ and Adriana and Maeve are 3 of just 500 students nationwide to receive this honor, along with a college scholarship to support their educational goals. I'd like to invite CJ, Adriana, and Maeve to the podium to receive their certificates, as well as our assistant principal from Ronkonkoma Middle School, Mr. Justin Bradley, and our principal from Oakdale Bohemia Middle School, Mr. Joseph Piombo. Come on up. We also have Mrs. Lori Senia from OBMS, who is the chapter advisor for that building. So CJ. And next, I'm going to actually invite Mr. Bradley back to the podium to assist me in congratulating the winner of a National Scholastic Storyworks contest. And this goes to Nicholas Delorio, 6th grade student at RMS. Congratulations, Nicholas. And next, I'd like to invite Dr. Joanne Pisani to the podium to help me present some certificates for Connectquot's Caring Leaders. Dr. Pisani has prepared a little bit of an introduction to who the Caring Leaders are and the reasons why their nominations are sort of coming to fruition this evening. Dr. Pisani.
Thank you, Ms. Poppy. Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Education and Cabinet for the invitation to recognize a group of extraordinary student leaders. I am extremely proud of the students we are honoring this evening. These remarkable students have shown exemplary character-based leadership, receiving the Connectquot Caring Leader Award as part of our EASL initiative. One of the many goals we accomplished through the Mental Health Advisory Council was the development of EASL. Our district committed to fostering our students' emotional awareness and social learning through the development of this initiative created by our educators who utilize the foundation of Ruler to customize EASL. EASL is the process through which young and youth develop and apply skills necessary to understand and manage their emotions, set and achieve positive goals, build awareness for self and others, establish interpersonal skills for relationship, and learn how to make responsible decisions. To help build a culture of connection here in Connectquot, monthly themes were identified to help teach our students social and emotional awareness. Student leaders were nominated and chosen as Connectquot Caring Leaders. These students went above and beyond demonstrating caring leadership and are now showcased with a framed photo displayed on the Kindness Wall of Fame at Student Services. Through EASL, we are creating a climate and culture that supports the overall well-being of our school community. Thank you to our students for your leadership and dedication to our school community. You are all amazing. Thank you to the parents and guardians for raising such kind, caring, and compassionate human beings. Together, we can better educate and guide our students. At this time, I would like to recognize each student, beginning with RMS. RMS Influencers Caring Leaders, nominated by the school social worker, Ms. Nofi, who took the easel concept and created RMS Influencers. She truly embraced the easel initiative, finding a creative and relatable way for students to champion the district's easel themes and to spread positivity. RMS leaders are Roman Bradley, recognized for October responsibility. Roman showed responsibility and leadership balancing school and football, taking younger students under his wing. Congratulations, Roman. Yep. We have two other students from RMS. Alicia Wilson for November Gratitude. Alicia was recognized for her outstanding job in her acknowledgement of the military. She continually models good character for her peers and embodies the culture of connection in Connecticut. Congratulations, Alicia. I don't know if she's here this evening, so could Mr. Bradley accept her award? Thank you. And Peter Nipcon was recognized for March Grit. Peter has shown exceptional growth and leadership among his peers through collaboration, inclusivity with the RMS community overall. Congratulations, Peter. I don't know if Peter's here, but Mr. Bradley, thank you. So our OBMS leader nominated by Nurse Dolan. Oh, sure. You want to do pictures? Okay. We're going to do individuals and then a group if we could. I apologize. Our OBMS leader nominated by Nurse Dolan, Amelia D'Antonio for April Collaboration and Teamwork. Emma was recognized for her positive attitude, demonstrating emotional awareness, fortitude, and outstanding physical adaptiveness to play sports from her wheelchair, and for introducing wheelchair basketball to her classmates in PE classes. Congratulations, Emma.
Can I stay 1 second? Sorry. There's always that one. Thank you.
Our next student is from Connecticut High School, leader nominated by Miss Lauren Neckin, 9th grade assistant principal. Parissa Rana for October responsibility. Parissa has shown responsibility by volunteering her time to organize and stock the high school's food pantry, ensuring that students in need have access to food pantry items. Congratulations and thank you, Rana. Our next student from Boston, nominated by his classroom teacher, Mr. Volper, Francis Pepino, for December citizenship. Frankie spent his own money from his piggy bank to help buy a wagon full of canned goods for the PTA food drive. So sweet. Congratulations, Frankie. I don't know if Frankie's here. Oh, yay, Frankie's here. Cherokee leader nominated by school social worker, Ms. Pissarro. Aubrey Dean for March Grit. Aubrey is kind, empathetic, and passionate about making the world a better place. She showed bravery and grit by not only overcoming obstacles, but sharing her experience in the hope of inspiring others through a classroom presentation. Aubrey's message to her classmates is, it's okay to be different, never change who you are. Congratulations, Aubrey. Our Duffield leader, nominated by school social worker Ashley Gugliuzzo. Michaela Dowd for October Responsibility. Michaela created several birthday in a bags as part of a service project given to students in need before their birthday. I don't know if Michaela's here, but Miss Lonergan, would you like to come up and receive her award? Thank you. Congratulations, Michaela. We'll try to take a picture maybe at your building. We tried that last time. She's a little shy. She's so sweet. So Idle Hour leaders, we have two nominated by teacher Miss Noreen. Our first student, Dylan Getty, for October Responsibility. Dylan serves as a role model for all her peers and school community. She's incredibly mindful of all her actions, continually looking to improve, and has insight to make meaningful and responsible decisions. Congratulations, Dylan. There's two. Yep. Our second student, Vince Neckin, for January Acceptance. Vince embodies acceptance inside and outside of the classroom and is eager to help his classmates excel, embraces differences of others, and uses it to strengthen connections. Congratulations, Vince. Our Sycamore leader, nominated by school social worker Ms. Michelson, Gabrielle Takach, for December citizenship. Gabby is a role model student and a prime example of kindness, honesty, and empathy. She's always willing to help a friend in need and be a safe place for them when they're going through a difficult time. Congratulations, Gabby. Thank you. Our Slocum leader, nominated by school social worker Ms. Des, Casey Mamalito, for April in collaboration and teamwork. Casey is an incredible and hardworking student. She works well with other students on her team, as well as students on the opposing team. She stays out of conflict and does her best to find a solution when conflict arises. Congratulations, Casey. I don't know if she's here. Is she here? Yes, she's here. And our final student from John Pearl, leader nominated by PE teacher Mr. Sturts, Evangelos Paravalos, for April and collaboration and teamwork. Evangelos always works well with others, encourages everyone to try their best. He lifts his teammates up and is a team player when winning or losing. Congratulations. Evangelos. Not sure, John Pearl. I think it's here. That concludes our awards. Can we do we want to invite the whole group up? Okay. Thank you so much to the board for recognizing our caring leaders, and thank you all for being here tonight. Congrats to all the students. Amazing job.
And we have
We can
all of
get-
the caring leaders just together for one final photo op. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening, and congratulations again to all of the award recipients.
Thank you, Ms. Poppy, and congratulations. Can we get a round of applause again for all these special kids? Congratulations to you all, and to the parents that, it all starts somewhere. Congratulations. Student government update.
Good evening. I hope you all had an amazing Memorial Day. I'm Michaela, one of the Board of Ed reps from the high school, sharing a few upcoming events. Connecticut High School's final Jazz Night is happening on May 29th, and it starts at 7 p.m. There's always amazing music, so it should be a fun time. Don't miss this chance to hear Connecticut's finest. Connecticut High School's Film Festival is on June 6th, so make sure to grab a seat and your popcorn for an informative and entertaining night. I don't have the time, but when I do, I'll let you know. And for our current seniors, we had an amazing time at Senior Banquet on the 21st, and we're looking forward to our prom on June 25th at Villa Lombardi's. Cap and gown pickup is on June 3rd from periods 2 to 8. The senior barbecue is June 5th, where we are getting our yearbooks, lawn signs, as well as our senior field day. Each school has its assigned shirt color for that day, so please check the Google Classroom for more information on that. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Do we have Orba? SEPTA? PTA Council? Okay. I will now open the floor for the first open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
Hi. Good thing I don't have like a thin skin. Everybody walking out when I'm walking up here, you know, I'd be like, good thing I don't have that kind of problem. Right off the bat, thankfully, budget passed, great. In the movie industry, they say that's in the can, so we're done. Now we're looking at 26, 27, and if I'm correct, that's when we got to start buying electric buses, right? Is that the year? The next budget. So I think literally we have to start looking at that tomorrow or July 1st or whenever, even if it means taking some of our young resources that we have, like this young man who came here with his engineering club proposal. I mean, if we could get some of these kids to do some of the legwork, we need to know who's making buses, what they're costing, what the lead time is, how do we get them delivered. We have a whole nother set of how we're going to charge them. We're looking at 8 years to change over 120 buses. That's 15 buses a year. I think that that's something that we've got to really start looking at very early, because everyone seems to have the idea that, oh, it can't happen, and then all of a sudden it'll happen. So that's something that I'm throwing out there.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to the forefront. Definitely something we are definitely looking into. Number 2. 3. Is there anybody else? Okay. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the financial matters, items 2 through 9?
Motion.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve the instructional and non-instructional personnel items as presented?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye for all the items. Also, I was asked to entrust in certain items, and I am putting my trust in the people that asked me to entrust in them. So I am also an aye. With that said, we have just appointed our new district clerk. We have Miss Sabrina Keller, who starts with us on July 1st. So welcome, Miss Keller. Miss Dr. Senler, would you like to do the honors?
Yes, and I'm also very pleased to welcome in a new capacity Miss Lori O'Hara, who will now be an executive director overseeing special education, professional development, and compliance services. So congratulations, Ms. O'Hara.
Can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 47 of the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Iannatelli is pulling an item from the consent agenda.
I don't have it even on mine. My consent agenda ends at 46.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I have it on the computer.
She's saying
The, armed guard.
Oh, armed guard? Sorry, armed guards is on there, and it is number, oh, gosh.
28?
It is 28,
it is 28.
it's 28.
Okay, so can I have a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 27 and 29 through 47?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion and a second to approve item number 28 from the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Ms. Hurd-Rosa? Ms. Iannatelli?
Okay, so I'm abstaining, and I'd like to explain why I'm abstaining. So, in the world of business, and this, I've said it several times tonight, I look at the school as a corporation, a business. We, when a bid comes, we really should do our due diligence and put it out there, regardless of the fact that I think our security is amazing, and they are wonderful people, not just at their job, but they're actually good-hearted people. And so many of them, I just really enjoy them. But we still should have done our due diligence and put the bid out there, went through everyone, met with them, saw everything, apples to apples, so that we could say with a good heart why, not just because we like them, because they do a good job, but knowing that it is the best choice for us. So I'm abstaining.
So, hold
Go ahead.
To be fair, we did put the bid out there, we did get bids.
Yeah, but we didn't do anything with them. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
No, we looked, we looked at the bids. To me, to put the safety of my children or your children or any children in the hands of the unknown, to me is just something that I couldn't wrap my head around. We know what we have. We know how safe our children are in the hands of the people that we entrust them with. So that was why I am a big yes for this consent agenda item.
okay, so I'm gonna interject here, because we did do our due diligence, as we've always done. We got it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 bids. So let's go over it, just so we understand. This is in my wheelhouse. We always talk about mental health wheelhouse.
Jax, can you admit that this is the first time
No.
you're speaking about it?
No, absolutely not
No,
true.
no, about these, you're gonna go through them, you just said.
No, absolutely not true. We spoke about it in executive.
Every one of those?
We went over an executive, and I quote, you don't remember I said to you, one company has never done a school. Has never done a school. Do you remember I said that?
Did I ask for 3 of them to come in?
Marisol was right
Three
there.
of them
Do
to
you
come
remember
in
me
and
saying-
talk to them because of the $142,000 difference?
April, and what I said in exec, I'll say in public.
Good.
Our children are safe because of covert. That's why they're safe. They're safe because they have not only trained their people, but they have trained all of Connecticut's security. I actually am the only board member who's gone to their training. I went to their training and I was invited years ago to physically watch. Do you know what I said? I don't know if I could pass that training. And I've been a cop for 25 years. Do you know why? Because it's so tough. They have ESU, Suffolk County people training these guys, these men and women, I should say. It's you shouldn't say that we didn't do our due diligence. We have eight here. You always talk about that we need to all review paperwork before we have a meeting. Review this, review that. We got the paperwork. Every single one gave us their RFP. So to say that we didn't do our due diligence, maybe you didn't do your due diligence, but the rest of us, I came in, and Marisol, I'm sure you and Jackie and whoever else can say, in exec, I was very clear. I highlighted and said, this company, as a matter of fact, more than one, doesn't do schools. One actually said it never did a school our size. What are we doing? We have different school districts, Comac, other schools all over Long Island. I know Cold Spring Harbor, where I work, just wanted Covert a year ago. Not after they had a threat. They had a threat, and then they decided, you know what? We need the best. So they came to Connecticut. They used Connecticut's model, and that's where I work. That's where I work, so I know it firsthand. So don't say that we didn't do our due diligence. Understand that this company that we're going with is the company that almost all of Long Island wants. This is not a joke. I know that Sachem has reached out to me personally, asking for our security committee paperwork, which I gave them. I shared with several different school districts our committee paperwork when we did the security committee for armed guards. To say that we didn't do our due diligence is misleading and misinformation, and you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Maybe you didn't, but we all spoke about this, and myself, Marisol, and I'm sorry to speak on you guys' behalf, but Marisol, me, and Jackie were a straight, we do
You all
not
said
want to
yes.
waste our time with other
Right.
companies.
I agree with that.
Because you are wasting your time with a company that's never, ever, ever done a school district.
Okay, so-
I would never have somebody come in that has never done a school district
Okay.
our size and put our kids' safety and our staff safety
Thank you,
in our
Jax.
hands.
I will agree to disagree. So what I'm going to agree on is that, yes, you all said yes. I will, for the record, never think Covert, who is our security, do a bad job. I don't. But when there is a huge amount of money, a disparity, I felt we should have met with the companies, not just saw them on paper. So that is just me, I guess, confirming why I said that. Thank you.
So it's okay.
No, I'd like
We're
to
going to
add
move on.
this.
It was four.
Well, I
yes,
wanna
it was,
just-
it was
add the-
4 yeses and an abstention. We're going to move on.
Marisol, we're giving transparency. The money was $676,987 to the last quote was $1,490,473. So let's just realize we picked in the middle, and when you have this kind of RFP, you don't have to pick this because it's a professional service, correct?
Correct, that's
Professional
memorialized
service.
in 6,700 of your policy.
Right, we do not have to take the lowest bid. We have to take the most responsible bid. And to say that we didn't do our due diligence, it's just so misleading.
Dr. Centimore, superintendent's update.
Thank you. As you can see from the recognitions tonight, it's a very special time of year. In addition to our students, it's an opportunity to also appreciate teachers, administrators, nurses, aides, and all support staff for their commitment and dedication to our students and community. I hope everyone had an enjoyable Memorial Day weekend as we remembered and appreciated the members of the armed forces who served and sacrificed to protect us. Yesterday, there were several parades in our community, including Ronkonkoma and Bohemia. In Bohemia, our 3 marching bands and members of the high school choir performed. It was a very proud day. Leading up to this, there were so many wonderful events in all of our schools, including numerous career and wellness days, hometown hero baseball game, mental health 5K run walk, the Beats for Liam cardiac screening, the Fine Arts and Music Hall of Fame induction, art shows, and the Disabilities Fair and Unified Basketball game. May has been a month of many concerts. There have been a plethora of spring concerts with the secondary jazz concerts occurring the next 2 evenings, so you can still catch some music, as well as this Saturday at the local church, the high school chamber singers are holding their annual community concert. Our student musicians and the staff who work with them continue to shine. Connecticut has truly earned that recent Best Communities for Music Education distinction. Congratulations to our spring athletic teams with several winning league championships and others competing in the playoffs. Tomorrow, girls track has the county championships, which are home tomorrow at the high school at 2:30, and baseball continues their playoff run, also home tomorrow afternoon. The athletic department recently hosted an amazing college recognition ceremony. 49 Connecticut student athletes have committed to play at the collegiate level. Just absolutely amazing. And today, the high school athletes helping athlete members played a key role in working with our staff at our 5th grade Coming Together Day at the high school. Thank you to everyone involved in making it a fun and memorable day. Last week, the high school had a wonderful senior banquet, as we heard from our student representative. This week, our high school science, as well as Idle Hour students, are participating in the wetland restoration project on Shore Road in Oakdale. The last month of the school year is very, very busy with a lot of wonderful things. Immediately upcoming events include several academic and athletic award ceremonies. And the high school, something they recently started, they're having their BOCES program graduation ceremony, and that'll be on June 9th. In terms of some recent legislation that was passed as part of the state budget, what was also passed was the bell-to-bell ban on smartphones and other internet devices. So we have a robust size curriculum committee with many stakeholders from various groups. So that committee is going to meet in early June, so we can have stakeholder input, which would then lead to the development of a policy as Connecticut, along with every other school district in New York State, implements that ban. And as always, we thank our PTA, our SEPTA, ORBA, athletics, boosters, civics, and Rotary for all that you do for our students, staff, and community. And I see we have scouts in the audience, as well as all of our scouts as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sedamore. Board of Ed committee reports. We have the policy committee, Ms. Inatelli and Ms. DiLorenzo.
Yeah, we went over, I don't have my paperwork for that one, so.
Okay, I actually forgot mine at home too, but I'll do it off the cuff. So, we, in the policy committee, went through the policy of our student officio representative who's going to be sitting on the board with us. We had to create a policy on, who that is, who picks them, what they will represent while they're up here. We actually also went through the,
Talk about the cell phone.
cell phone, we did. We
Yeah,
talked
the
about
bill
the
that's
cell
coming up.
phones, but we were waiting for New York State to pass down the rest of the laws and, guidelines around it before we can review and put the policy up for adoption. So that was more or less, and
I
we
think
went
that was
through
it, and I believe the cell phone one, if I remember correctly, we have to have that policy by August 1st, is that right? Okay, so then we'll continue to work on that, but yeah, that's what it was in a nutshell.
Can I just ask, there was a heat one, right, or what's it called?
Yes.
Temperature?
Yes, John Allen actually
maximum
came in
heat.
and spoke to us about it. John, do you mind?
That one starts
Beginning with-
also in September,
I
right?
think so.
So what I shared with the policy committee is Connecticut is very well positioned to be ahead of the heat requirements, the cooling requirements, I should say. The state says that once a classroom or space gets to 82 degrees, you need to start coming up with creative alternatives to cool spaces. No real good way to do it. We sit here, we look about the security of our buildings, we look about making sure the doors are closed, the windows are closed. So how do we do it? Air conditioning. It's an initiative that this district and the community undertook back in 2022. We are well underway as far as bringing those plans to fruition. Many of the buildings have already been air conditioned. We're working on several more right now, and the last two have been approved recently, and we're going to be working on those as well. So the one thing I can say is because we're putting air conditioning, formal air conditioning in all of the buildings, any space that does not have that equipment as of yet, because we're waiting either for the equipment or the electrical to run it, we're moving air conditioners around, and we're going to make sure as of September 1, all instructional spaces, classroom spaces are well positioned, so we shouldn't have an issue with the policy at all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mental health, Ms. Terrarosa, Ms. DiLorenzo?
Okay, we had our mental health meeting May 7th, we talked a lot about the wellness days, and the mental health run that we had at the beginning of the month. We talked about that. A thank you to Ms. Neckin for that. And we also solidified a date for our Community Wellness Day, which is going to be Saturday, September 27th from 11 to 2 p.m. at the Connecticut Public Library. And the plans for that will be happening over the summer, so we are working on that. Great day. Last year, I think we had over 500 people. It was huge. We had wonderful vendors, so that's going to be coming up next school year. We did also talk about the grant that we submitted the application for, the Drug-Free Community Grant, which was submitted on May 2nd. A big thank you to Yes for helping out with that. And let me see, talk a little bit about the different subcommittees, bullying prevention, drug and alcohol task force. And I'm trying to think. I think that just about covers. I don't know if you want to add something to it, Melissa.
I think that covers. Oh, and we started talking about the mission statement, like the mission statement for the committee and the vision for it. So we got a copy of what we currently have, and we're going to come back and continue to work on it. But you hit everything else.
Thank you. Bully prevention, Ms. Chiragrosa, Ms. Napolitano-Ferno.
So, I'll start? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So we spoke about character citizenship, parent workshop, peer discussions that's coming up. We spoke about student voices, ambassador training through LICAB, ABC review, student input. We reviewed the goals, the mission of the task force, the accomplished goals, the new goals for 2025-26, K-12 bullying prevention programming, that words matter, and student ambassadors. We did emotional awareness, social learning, a monthly theme in May, well-being and self-care, caring leaders, the Kindness Wall of Fame. We spoke about ConnectQuad influencers that started at RMS, but that they were looking to make bigger throughout the district. We spoke about school-based teams, a report, what each school is doing to address the bullying issues, and the SCDA, which Suffolk County DA's office presentation they're going to have in the fall of 2025. That's the one we went to, was it Colmac we went to? Yeah. Colmac. I went with Dr. Sensimore and Dr. Prasani to see the hate crimes and bullying prevention at that high school. It was a great presentation. That's pretty much what we went over.
Health and safety, Ms. Napolitano-Ferno.
So we went and visited the pool. Hold on, I have my notes on my phone because for that one. So we went to visit the pool and we got a site tour and it is incredible. What they're doing is absolutely incredible. We went over distributing and reviewing the minutes from our February meeting. Then we went over the capital projects update, the HVAC and electrical, the roofing, the high school pool renovation, which we actually went to. It's coming out great. The playgrounds, the exterior mason projects, potential projects in NYSID. We went over the reconfiguration of the high school director suite and finishing up lead testing phase 1. A spring 2025 survey is underway for AHERA. And we went over some other new business for the committee. Otherwise, like I said, we took most of the meeting, half of the meeting, we ended up at the pool and we did a full tour of the basement, where the pool is right now, and it's coming out incredible. What they've done in the way of painting, the walls, and everything looks great.
When do you think the pool will be ready for use?
John guaranteed.
There's laughing.
He said September. I heard it.
So, from the onset of this project, we've been talking about an April 22nd opening so that the fall season could start there. I can't say one way or the other at this point. I can't guarantee that. What's happening is...
You said April 22nd?
No, August. August 22nd.
August, okay.
So the fall season, if I said April, I apologize.
Yeah, August 22nd, okay.
I apologize. So the system that we're using is a very, very proprietary system, and of course with all of the changes to the tariff and the customs and all the other fun stuff that's coming with those changes to big business right now, we do not have a delivery date for the pool itself. So we're still working on that. As soon as I get any kind of confirmation from the contractor, I will be sharing it out immediately, and there will be no surprises. But we're doing everything we can to expedite some things and to keep moving forward so that when the pool comes, it's the last thing that we have to do. We're actually prepping the walls this week for the tile and everything else. So we're really getting down to the point where we need the pool's infrastructure itself. But keeping our fingers crossed right now.
Knock on wood, right?
A little bit of that.
Thank
yes.
you. Board of Ed topics. AP Psych, Ms. Napolitano Furno.
So there was some issues this year with whether the test was going to be given or money was going to originally be given back to the students or families for this test, and also the preparation for the test. So I just wanted to get it out there to the community that the test did take place and what exactly took place, because some parents were complaining that their students had to go on YouTube and other avenues to try to study. So I wanted to know what the issue was and to make sure this doesn't happen in the future.
I'm happy to chime in a little bit here. So the AP psychology examination was actually the last AP exam on the last day of AP testing, which was Friday the 16th. It did take place. We did, as a district, make a decision to layer in some additional support for students who were enrolled in that course. So we did run some review sessions in order to prepare students and help them along in their study of course material toward that assessment on May 16th.
We haven't had to do that in the past. Was this something new? I mean, it's good. I always have said I like the review. I like what you guys are doing also with, I think it's geometry, math. They're doing all sorts of extra help. I think that's excellent. But in this specific case, it sounded more like this test was going to actually be canceled. Was that on the table?
So that wasn't on the table. This was really in response to a unique circumstance and situation that was taking place internally. So it was just a layer and a measure of additional support for our students as they approached the test.
AI, Ms. DiLorenzo.
So I had done through work a webinar about AI, and which is in many ways is fantastic. I've done many things with AI which are really, really awesome, especially, given my career. But there was some other things that were covered in a different webinar that I had done, just things to keep an eye on that I thought was very interesting to share just with parents and here, the district. That it can be concerning too when a child is, new technology. It's great until it's not. You have to, learn how to use it properly. And some interesting statistics that came up with this that I thought some things were, kind of concerning. A lot of teens, 7 in 10 teens, Common Sense Media report, use at least one type of generative AI tool. They use it for a variety of purposes, but a lot of times for homework. Sometimes they don't even, without their teacher's permission. Only about 37% of parents whose teen actually reported using the AI thought their child had used it. So there's a whole bunch of parents that didn't even know. And some of the things about AI that I thought were really, really concerning is that AI kind of sort of, while it's great, it doesn't really have much of a moral compass. So a kid could connect with AI, think that they have a connection with them like it's a real person. They're losing the social connection with actual people. And I think so. I kind of think this touches on the mental health and also the curriculum, things to keep an eye on. And I did bring this up during the Mental Health Advisory Council meeting. My concerns about that with, the mental health portion of it, that students are really using it instead of connecting to actual students, other people. And of course, the concern about homework and, the fact that AI doesn't, it'll turn up things like that may be the most popular. And I want to just make sure that we, as a district, are teaching AI in a way that is responsible. So students are not using it just to say, hey, write a paper for me. And there's a paper, and nothing that's on the paper is actually going into their heads. So it's concerning to me to be able to keep up with that. Of course, in my profession, we keep up with everything with technology because we have to. And I do, and I'm not even putting AI down because I actually think in many ways it really is great. I've used it myself for things for work, and it is fantastic. There are some great things about it, but I do have concerns about children using it. And honestly, I mean, over the last many years, especially since COVID, they are just bombarded with electronics, and went from their classes, teachers in front of them on electronics, and we were always saying, no, put the device down, get outside, throw a ball, do this, do that, and now they're just attached to it. So I just want to make sure, and advocate that we as a district are keeping up with it on the academic side, the mental health side, to properly guide our students so they are still learning and their mental health is still okay with this constant bombardment of technology that's changing almost yearly. There's something new that we have to tackle and take care of.
So I could speak to that. Our IT department, led by Liz Weiss, formed a teacher AI committee to put together instructional guidelines and also professional development. Pretty large committee. I'll let Ms. Poppy speak in a few moments. And the idea now is to kind of turnkey that as we get to the end of the school year and then the start of the subsequent school year to the rest of the instructional staff. And I do know that in terms of that mental health component with AI, that Ms. Wise and also Dr. Pisani are having conversation. You brought it up at the committee as well. But I'm just going to ask Ms. Poppy to speak a little bit more on that in a moment. And one of the things that we were thinking of is that maybe in the fall, this might be a nice opportunity to invite Ms. Weiss in to speak to both the AI initiative and also, this summer we're also rolling in a new website. And so it might be a nice opportunity in the fall for her to kind of present on both if the board would like. But Ms. Poppy, if you could just speak a little bit more on the AI.
So universally, I think that we share some of the concerns that you raise, right, in terms of that idea of bombardment, the different types of opportunities that children have at their fingertips, and the availability of these different types of opportunities. So Dr. Centimore mentioned that internal AI committee, and it was very well attended with representation from all levels and from all stakeholders within the district. So it was a continued conversation across most of this school year. This committee just concluded its work, made some recommendations that will help shape and help inform the development of an AI-related policy within the district, and that's something that we are looking at and kind of turning over as we, head into next school year, certainly. We've considered what's available to students, and as you know, everything that we onboard here in the district has to be Ed Law 2D compliant, right? That's a requirement. So right now we're using two major providers for AI. You may hear your students talk about Brisk or Magic School, and the key here is to help our teachers learn these platforms so that in turn, if it's instructionally sound and useful for them, turnkey that information to students, right? So it's sort of, I don't want to call it a gradual release, but a controlled flow of information and educational opportunity for students. So that's a very important component. Some of the larger AI engines that I think many of us have heard of, like ChatGPT, are not EdLaw 2D compliant, so they cannot be used on campus, on our campuses, but of course that doesn't mean that students don't have access to them at home. So a lot of this instruction also encompasses the idea of digital citizenship, right? What it means to be a consumer of these electronic capabilities, what your footprint looks like, what your submissions look like. And, I think although this entire movement is relatively new, we've been using AI-based products for many years, right? So our secondary students are very familiar with Turnitin.com, which is a checker, right? So I see some of you nodding your heads. Maybe you're familiar with your students submitting their papers into that platform. It's reviewed, and then feedback comes in terms of matching material. That's a form of AI. So it's sort of raising awareness to what AI is, and then it's introducing these new platforms in a controlled way, and it's essentially expanding and enhancing the educational experience for everyone. So it's a tall order. And Dr. Sanamore, I think you're right, having Ms. Weiss here to kind of talk about some of her work, because it's been a standing conversation annually, and we're sort of making decisions, we're making headway, we're trying to gather all of that feedback from stakeholders to make the best decisions possible relative to the use of AI in our classrooms and on our campuses.
I'm glad to see that you're taking that approach, that you've already started that, because I think it is important. And I actually haven't heard about, what is it, Brisk and Magic School? Is that what you said? What?
Those are two platforms that we're using that are AI-based that we're using currently. So we've been introducing teachers to their capabilities, right? And kind of seeing what they offer for our classrooms at both levels. They each offer, there are some overlaps in what they offer, but both of them have unique features that may make them better for instance, for a particular level of instruction. And then kind of going from there to see how everything kind of filters into our classrooms and how teachers can best harness their power and deliver that to students.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I would love when she, I would love to have her come in and talk about that, and even talk a little bit about how these are being used. If she can incorporate that into that, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wasn't what we went to Cherokee for, wasn't that a portion of that AI? Some of the robots and things they were showing me, they were explaining that that was actually AI now, what they had going on with the new ones they brought in.
So you're absolutely right. So our recent visit to the district's computer science and engineering elementary program, we went and saw the breadth of a child's experience over at Cherokee Elementary School a few weeks ago, does incorporate different robots, machines, devices, equipment that is AI enabled. That's how these products function, right? So again, it's the same concept of it's being delivered, those materials and that equipment, those devices are being delivered to students in a very controlled and educationally sound way, right? To enhance their learning, to enhance their experiences. And I do hope that you are satisfied with that experience and getting to see what our students are exposed to.
That was an incredible experience, and thank you to Cherokee for allowing us to come, and for the teachers and the admin there who were incredible with showing us everything and going over each thing. They took time for each grade level to show us. It was a great program.
Great demonstration, everything. It was well thought out, perfect.
Thank you very much. Thanks to our computer science and engineering teachers, of course, our building principals who host this rotating program, as well as Mrs. Berger who oversees the program.
Thank you. Sorry, I stepped out. We were talking about STEM. That was a great program that we went to see. The kids were so interactive with the programs. It was great. Staff appreciation, Miss Iannatelli.
So I found it appropriate, since we did just have a Teacher Appreciation Week recently, that I wanted to talk about how my last 2 years on the board, about showing up and how important it is that our staff shows up. And it doesn't matter if you're the superintendent, assistants, principals, teachers, custodians, security, whoever you are. They are not obligated to show up for all the events and different things that they go to. And I really find showing up makes such a huge difference in a child's life. I personally went to Connecticut. I did not know who the superintendent was. Like, you knew his name, but you didn't know who he was. You didn't see him. My principal, even, you did not see them. They were the scary person who walked through the hall. These were not people that you interacted with. And, recently I was at the CYO, first day, and they asked Dr. C to throw out the ball. Every kid knew him. every kid was so happy. Back in my, we would have been like, who's this guy throwing out the ball? They all were so happy. I went to the baseball heroes game, and I was taken back on how many people went up to the high school principal, hugged him, shook his hand. Middle schoolers were shaking his hand saying hello because they were so proud to say hello to the principal. Now, all those parents at home, whoever raised these kids, amazing job. So just, I mean, respectful and nice, and it was just great to see. I had a security guard recently tell me that he needs to stay 7 more years because he has to watch a 5th grader come through high school because he's such an amazing athlete that he wants to see him go through. You know, I mean, I could go on and on. You know, I look over this weekend, John Allen is standing at the fence. You know, I mean, so many things. You know, that all the things that we just spoke about, that all of these people up here show up to. Every play, every concert, you know, anything in this district. No one, you know, people say all the time, what does everybody do? They do so much more than anyone knows. And again, showing up is 50% of the battle. It really, really is. Showing up shows the kids that you are there for them through everything. So I don't want to waste any more time, but I really felt it was important to let everybody know that these people, you know, our staff are, you know, again, from the bottom up, you know, I can't even say enough about the custodial staff. I mean, God, when, you know, you're in elementary school and you're on the PTA, these people are your backbone. They're helping you through everything. So I really just want to, you know, thank everybody and let the community know there's so much more to these people than just their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Spring concerts, Miss DiLorenzo.
I just want to give a shout out to our music department. We just had our spring concerts, and they were just fantastic. And I really love what the high school did, that they broke it up, because they actually were able to do more. I mean, orchestra was one night, I think band was the next night, chorus was the next night, and each group was able to do more. I mean, it was incredible because you really got to see it all. So I love how they did that. I loved the middle school concert, and I did go a beginner concert. It is adorable. I actually have a kid at each level, beginner all the way up to high school and middle school. And I just have to say, I think it's absolutely amazing when I see what, you know, the little ones do, beginner. It's hot cross buns, every group. And I love it because they are just learning. They're out there, and to see how they grow into middle school and then what it becomes in high school, how these kids perform is really amazing. And, you know, thank you to the music department for, you know, fostering that talent in them, and of course the parents that I know, I do it myself, we get them out the door early with their instruments or whatever it might be, because it really is incredible. And the kids, of course, thank you to them for providing entertainment literally at every level. And I love the little ones. They are the cutest. They just wave the whole time until they start playing, and it is adorable. So just a shout out to our music department. I think they're great.
Thank you. I agree. We do have an amazing music department. Beats for Leah, Miss DiLorenzo.
Another wonderful thing that we do, you know, which came out of something tragic, but it's really amazing to see how this family gives back from something that happened to them. And I can't thank them enough for doing this, for helping. And I know I talked about it before the event, but I want to talk about it again now that it's over. I do bring my son to it, and I think it's wonderful to have that opportunity to see that. I actually go there with last year and the year before, and I have the doctor look at all of them. Do you see any changes? I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at when I look at these charts. So just a thank you to the family for continuing to do this, and all the volunteers, everybody that helps out with that day. It runs so smooth. It's incredible how they have it set up with their station. So thank you. I can't thank you enough for doing that. It is very much appreciated that this event goes on.
So I just want to piggyback you. Beats for Liam, I've been going for the last 6 years, and I actually went a few years earlier and had my own child went through, and it was excellent. They find if something's wrong with your child, they give you a baseline, which is excellent, and I really believe all sports should have that at this point, with what goes on with the heart now. But Marisol and I were able to go down from the We went down to Peaceful Liam to see everything that was going on, to speak to the family, to let Liam's mom know that she's doing an incredible job, and we appreciate everything she does for Connecticut and what she does for all of our kids. We also we ended up at the Hall of Fame. Was it the music? Mm-hmm. So the Music Hall of Fame, which was also a great show of appreciation to alumni. It was a wonderful event that they've only done the last few years. What is it, 2? Because we've been to both of them. I think it's right. So it's been the last 2 years, and really, both were going on at the same time. Both fantastic events. If you have a child that next year you can bring for Beats for Liam, even if they're a year younger than they say, they'll take them. If you write them, she's very good with trying to get students in, even if they're a little bit younger.
Agreed. Beats for Liam is just taking a tragedy and turning it into a positive. It's just such an important thing to have your children checked and looked at. Everyone should have their children looked at. Senior Time Machine, that's me. So there's a trend on TikTok, actually, that I saw about the Senior Time Machine. So what it is it almost looks like a time machine that's put up, and you have kindergarten students walking in one door, and then you have the seniors walking out the other door. And I think that would just be such an amazing thing to bring to Connecticut for our senior walkthrough. Just something to put at all the elementary schools. We could have somebody from IT come in and video it. We could have our 12th grade assistant principal upload it to all the parents. And it would just be such an amazing memory for the parents to have, like, see their kindergartners walking in and then the seniors walking out.
I love that idea, Marisol. You know what else I saw actually online? I don't know if you saw it. They had one of the schools did a senior day where they actually had kids in kindergarten make a video and ask themselves 3 questions. Did you see? It was incredible. So they asked themselves 3 questions on this video. Then they saved the video at that school or however they saved it. And then the kids went back as seniors and they answered those 3 same questions. They said, now that you're older, what 3 questions, can you answer these questions? It was incredible. I wish I remembered where the link was. I would send it to you guys. But I watched it and it brought tears. So it's just things like that are incredible for the parents, for the students, just to make the memories with your seniors.
Agreed. And I know that every school has their thing when the seniors go for their senior walkthrough. I know that my children are Sycamore, so they try to recapture their 5th grade yearbook picture on the playground, so they do that again as seniors. But I think if we brought this to all the schools and just try to bring that would be amazing. Unified basketball, Miss Napolitano Forno.
So today was Unified Basketball Senior Day. Great job. Really, like I said, Unified Sports are incredible. I've been advocating for them for years. What I heard today from some parents and from some special education SEPTA, PTA, was what can be done to incentivize having more participation from our gen ed kids. We only have 2 general ed kids on our unified team this year. And in the past, we've had several. We've had so many. So is there a way to give these students community service? Now, I know it's under Section 11, so I know you have to follow rules and regulations. But is there something that Connecticut can do? Because it is nice for the kids that are on the special education side to have that extra help from the gen ed side. I mean, if you want to see inspiration, if you want to put things into perspective, go to a unified basketball game, go to a unified bowling event. I promise you, you will not regret it. I go, and every time I go and I see these kids make a basket and cheering, I have to tell you, I have never cried so much as when I'm at those events. Those events will remind you what's really important. That being said, I was disappointed this year, and I have to bring it up, that I was told that this year they couldn't run the middle school club. Now, I advocated a few years ago for a unified club to mirror what we do at the high school. I understand that Section 11 doesn't sanction it, but we didn't need that. We were able to do it through a club, and Mr. Mallory did a great job. Literally, I advocated for it one day, and the next day I was getting pictures of, hey, this is what I think we're going to do. Great job. But being told that they couldn't find a teacher to run it, I was very disappointed, because I understand that if we can't find teachers in the district, we can go outside. I understand contractually what the issue is, but we need to do a better job of, if we can't get a teacher in Connecticut, that's fine. Let's open it up to other people. It needs to be opened up, because that's something that's so important. We see how much the kids love it at the high school level. Why are we not making sure that we continue something that was advocated for, not just by me, but by SEPTA, by the special ed parents? You know, we need to continue making sure we are inclusive, not just we say, let's be, oh, we love inclusivity. No, let's actually be inclusive. The middle school and even the elementary schools should have a unified program, even if it's something that we have to pay outside teachers or outside people if we can't get teachers to do. It really needs to be told that that's why it wasn't done is unacceptable.
So I do want you to know that Mr. Mallory is committed to going at it again and giving another effort toward establishing that middle level unified team. Again, that's for sure and for certain. And you know what, I didn't, Mrs. Mallon, I didn't have a chance to turn on my microphone quickly after you were finished talking about the time machine. So if I may,
Yeah, absolutely.
we did receive some additional requests for something of that nature from a member of the public. And we have considered it as a group of administrators at the elementary level. And because every building has its own traditions and its own practices and protocols relative to the upcoming senior walk, I am making the recommendation that the principals bring that idea to their shared decision-making teams at the building level so that they can best kind of gather all of the people together who would need to be included in that type of decision-making in order to have that discussion. So I do want you to know that that was a conversation that we had between last week and certainly today. I was going to say early this week, but it's the first work day of the week. So it's been an internal discussion at this point.
That's great. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to say two things. I am, a huge supporter of the Gen Ed special education, unit. I don't think it's put out there. Many kids don't know they can be. So, Ms. O'Hare, I'm going to say, now that you're coming on board, that we really need to communicate that they need the Gen Ed students to help out. Because even my own child, who really would have loved to have participated in bowling and basketball, had no clue that she even could have an opportunity to do so. So I really think it's communication. I don't think it's that kids don't want to. I think that they don't know they can, that they have that opportunity to be part of it.
Doesn't that fall on the coaches and the athletic department?
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah.
More so. No offense, but more so. When we talk about sports, we're talking about the athletic department. When we talk about sports, we talk about our coaches. So a coach has to, try to get people, encourage people to come play.
Right. So, communication really is key. We need to get it communicated. The second thing I wanted to tell you is that we do have guidelines in the school district that if you want to be a coach, you actually have to be a certified coach to even apply. So, I really don't know what the problem was and why we didn't go outside, because that is in the contract. We go outside if no one applies inside. But they do have to be a certified coach. So we can't just take someone who just wants to do it.
Yeah, and listen, I know the contract inside and out because, we've negotiated a few times. But I also know that if you can't get a teacher in our district, you can go outside to teachers in other districts. And I know other sports that use teachers in other districts. I also know that we should be advocating for all sports to be equity across the district in regards to if we give, we shouldn't be picking and choosing who we give assistant coaches to, too. There are sports that have asked for assistant coaches, and we still haven't even entertained it, yet there are some sports that you'd be like, oh no, they need 2 or 3 assistant coaches. No, so I'm saying it should be equitable across district, and I've been saying that for years.
Okay. Grant, Ms. Napolitano Furno.
So we received a grant for $125,000. I wanted to know a bit about that and where's the money going to go to? Do we know yet? Or the grant that I thought was approved for $125,000,
It's still in we submitted for it, but it has not been approved yet.
I thought it was approved.
No, we applied for it. It's $125,000 a year for 5 years, and then the opportunity to reapply after that. This was the grant that we worked with. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm on that committee with
Right.
you.
Right.
So I
But
was
the grant was
wondering-
just submitted. We're hoping to hear soon about it.
But was that money only allowed to go towards what YES does, which is the bullying, the alcohol, drugs? What is it going to be in response to? Or is there parameters that we have to follow with that kind of money?
I just want to say that in our committee, I know a little mishap with that committee day. And I said in our meeting, they used it towards an after prom party. They used it towards just things for the kids. It's very flexible on what you can do for the children and make it so it's a safer, happier, greater environment. But that's a big thing, doing an after prom party, that was just so that kids didn't go out drinking, they were safe. But they had food trucks, they had games, they gambled actually, there were so many things. So I don't think, because we don't have the money yet, but I'm sure many committees will be involved in making the decision on where the money is going to be spent.
I just wanted to know if there was parameters, because I hadn't heard yet. I just heard about it, but not. That's great. If you can do something like that, that's incredible.
Thank you. Does anybody have any other, Mr. Grosso?
I actually have a question that when the electric buses got brought up, I thought of. Have we done anything to work towards, I remember reading, and I'm going to say this loosely because I don't have it in front of me, the fleet electrification plan, I believe it was, through the Energy and Research Development Authority, because we got, if I read it correctly, you got extra money. If you submitted this plan to them, you got extra money towards the purchase of the buses as well as the batteries or the charging stations, and I just don't want to fall behind if that's an opportunity.
Yeah, so the electrification study or the electrification plan that you're referring to, if a district goes through NYSERDA, they will pay either 50%, or if you're a qualifying district, mainly wealth or income-wise, they'll go up to 70%. So a district like ours would have to pay half of the cost to have that study done, and then we would be reimbursed by NYSERDA. So we have not done that yet. We've actually filed our initial plan back in last August with the State Education Department. So there's no requirement yet to do an electrification study. They're encouraging it, but the cost, I don't even know what the exact cost might be. It could be upwards of $50,000, $75,000 just to have that study done. So that is something we are considering.
Yeah, I guess I would want to know if it will long run, if we pay for the study, but it's going to give us more money towards the actual purchasing of when we have to do this. Because I remember, I'm almost certain I read that it was another 4% gets covered, and then it was about $30,000 per charging station. It was like a whole thing. We got it in the one of those onboard emails, and I love reading those. It was more recent too, and I thought it was that they were covering 100% of the study for a district in need and 75% for one that's not.
I'm not sure about the 4%. I haven't heard anything about that yet. But, and there are other grant opportunities, federal, state level, towards the purchase of electric buses as well.
The legislation that just came out with, as part of the budget process, they put into the legislation the ability for districts to request extensions. But I just had a conversation with Senator Wyke, and we're still waiting for the details of this ability to extend, and there may be a large financial commitment attached to it as well. So we're still waiting for a lot more information.
One of the things I just have to ask about, because if we have to, say, start purchasing them soon to, replace so that by 2035 we're all electric, I mean, part of that purchase, we can't just have them sitting out here with no way to charge them. So, I mean, I would imagine the whole infrastructure of our parking lot has to change, even if, say, we do, as he said, like purchase 10 a year. Well, we can't just purchase them and have them sit here. They have to be able to be charged. So, I mean, even if, say, we wanted to, and I don't want to go with the electric bus, but if we had to, and we wanted to, say, start buying them little by little, I would imagine initially it's a tremendous expense because you have to be able to power them up. And that has to change before you even change the whole fleet over. So, I don't know.
I think there was wasn't there an issue already though with that there's already hazardous issues and dangerous issues, which even putting these in this location, you would have to find a location that's safer, that's bigger. I mean, there was all sorts of, I thought, issues with that.
I think you're right, there was.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a concern about the combustibility with electrified vehicles. You know, we got feedback from the Bohemia Fire Department in terms of fire suppression. Yeah, I mean, this is a major endeavor for school districts such as ours that have a large fleet. I mean, we have a huge fleet. And so it's significant. You know, right now the grid can't support it, which is the problem with the timeline. We got, again, like I just said, we got to get the details about being able to apply for the extension. And even with grants and everything else, this is going to be tens of millions of dollars in infrastructure. And when a big bus is 400,000+ and a small bus is 200,000+, which is about 3 times the normal price, this is big money. And so the advocacy has to continue, but we also have to do the planning at the same time because so far it's not going away. But, you know, we'll see what the details are with the request for extension.
Thank you, everyone. Anybody else? Does anybody have a public comment before I read all this? All right, can I?
Can I have another comment?
Sure. I will now open the floor for the second open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board will consider a motion to extend the time.
You must have been here last. Just the same track, okay? It isn't going away. I mean, we can't live in a world where we think they might not do it because then we get bashed over the head with electronic buses. It's right now $6 million a year for 8 years on top of whatever we're spending. So we've got to really start to look at a plan and maybe not spend the $75,000, but we've got some really smart kids who are going to be seniors. We've seen, I mean, give them 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week. Let's find out who's making the buses, how long it takes, who's making the infrastructure, how long it takes. We've got more questions than we have answers, and I think we really need to find a way to start that ball rolling because this year is going to fly, as every year does. So,
Thank you. Anybody else? Can I call for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.